start by saying, if you don't like cussing and you don't want to hear it, or you're under the age of 18, you probably shouldn't be watching this video. Okay guys, I'm back to let you know I have actually been avoiding doing this video. Main reason is because I love Star Wars, I love the action figures, I love a lot of the stuff about it. However, I have got to point out, what the fuck, Hasbro? You were getting really good. You guys are the guys who created fucking G.I. Joe. But what the hell have you done to Star Wars? Okay, what we're going to start with is Kenner. When Kenner returned to making Star Wars figures, this is what you got. You got the 5 points of articulation. This is a shitty looking version of Pombadoda. It's a shitty version of Walrus Man. His arms go up and down. His head turns left and right. His legs move. And that's it. Plus, he's overly muscular. This is garbage. This is what they gave us when they returned the series. Now, they were still worth buying because we hadn't had Star Wars figures in years when they came around to it. Time went by, they thinned them out, they made them a little better, and eventually they got to the point where they look like this. Now, those of you who don't know, this is Cliff from Cheers. He was actually in Empire Strikes Back playing a commander. But this guy, though his legs are only there, his arms move like this, he's got wrists, his head is on a ball joint, and to an extent, you see, he's got a waist swivel. This was far better than that. The character was drawn out, he was well made. Something that you actually cannot say about a lot of the figures that have happened since. And then you get into the height of it. First, the 2-packs. The comic book 2-pack ones. Ankle joints. Knee joints. Elbow joints. Wrist swivels. Ball shoulders. Yes, they didn't have ball hips, but they still had a waist crunch. A ball head. Removable helmets for average figures, and holsters that worked. This is from a 2-pack, but it doesn't matter. That was what they were putting into everything. Before that, one of the best Yodas, Dagobah Yoda. Yes, he does have a swivel for the hips. I thought this is the one that had the removable parts, but I guess he isn't. He looks great. He's an excellent figure. Gimmer stick, everything. He's the way Yoda's supposed to look. Even if you're only talking about the other stuff. And then on top of that, not only does he have wrist swivels, he has a ball-jointed head and these. I didn't actually get a chance to ever play with the one that was released with Force, The Last Jedi, because my ex-girlfriend took off with it before I could. But that's okay, it didn't matter, because I was pretty sure it was going to be garbage, and it just had a stupid special feature. I mean, honestly, this was good. This was alright. The second version of this, it sucked. And wait for it. Low battery. Okay. Then we got into the last line before they started releasing the $3 to $5 figures. Okay, this is from the Clone Wars series. Even the droids. And you know, I'm not got any of my droids out here. I mean, this isn't even a third. Actually, this isn't even a quarter of my collection. But he had wrist swivel, elbow joints, ball joints at the arms. Yes, that arm, that little armor plate does keep him from doing it. He's got a ball jointed head, which is a little bit weirder than the other ball jointed heads. Ab crunch with a swivel. Still no ball joint at the hip, but that's okay. Knee joints, foot joints, ball joint at the foot. This was great. Yes, he's a little off because he's done based on a character with horrible animation, but he still was great. The reason I say, what the fuck, Hasbro? Well, we're going to start with the Stormtroopers on this. Here is the Force Awakens Stormtrooper from the original movies. Sand Trooper, to be exact. I wanted a new Sand Trooper because the old one I had was the old Kenner first release of Kenner stuff. Head turns, arms barely move. You gotta break them loose because, well, they didn't test it. Leg joints, all you can do is get him to stand. It's not limited to him. Here's another Sand Trooper. Same basic thing. At least his head has a little bit of a swivel. In fact, if I remember right, you can actually pop the heads off of both of these figures and take off the armor, which is great, but not something I asked for. Now, let's get into the Duck Troopers. Yes, I will always call them Duck Troopers, starting with the Snow Duck Trooper. Same damn thing. Yeah, a little bit of a ball joint on the head. Okay, that is probably the greatest thing that they did out of all of this line. Most of the figures have a ball joint for a head. You got it on almost everybody, but they come up with these great ideas for flame troopers, and the guy cannot even hold both ends of the goddamn gun. This is fucking ridiculous. The Duck Troopers all together. Hey, look, it's actually one of the right ones. The Duck Troopers all together were shit. Except for him. He had a removable helmet and actually looks pretty good on the inside. But he's still only a 5-point articulation. All of these guys, completely worthless when it comes to actually wanting to get dynamic poses. So, there you go, back in the bucket. Death Trooper. Awesome idea. Yeah. They had a 3¼ inch version in the Black Series. Do I really want to pay $25 to get a little bit more articulation? No. I don't even like paying $7 for this. This isn't worth $5, even with all the weapons and the gimmicks that they stuck with it. Same with this thing. The only good part about this figure was that you could rip the head off if you couldn't find the one that had her actual head with the removable helmet. You could rip the head off of this one and stick it on here. Where did I put? Oh yeah, I put her back in the bucket because I don't want to show those off. The pilot. Her. She should have been able to move. All of that was that way. Every single damn one of these was that way. This is from Solo. You think they would have figured it out by then. The only figure that I have out of the Duck Troopers that actually has some articulation is only on the knees, and it's the Biker Scout. His arms are straight. His head has a swivel. His hips do move one way. There is a ball joint on the knees. Why the fuck couldn't you have done that with all of the figures? Now we're going to get into actual comparison from figure to another figure of the same type. Darth fucking Vader, the main bad guy. Why do I only have 3 of these? Oh, I must have tossed the Vader. Oh, there he is. I don't give a shit about him. He's not important anyways. He was the cartoon version. Okay. This is the Ghost of Vader from the Dagobah series. He's translucent. His head keeps falling off. Of course, he's got the removable mask. There's Luke underneath. But you get him down to where he actually can do it. Swivel, swivel, swivel. Hey, he has articulation. Yeah, he's meant to stand one way, and honestly, the guy in that suit could not move worth a shit. But at least there was some articulation to the figure. Something you cannot say about these 2 things. Okay, I believe this is the one that came with the probe droid, and this is the one that came in the main line. The one in the probe droid, honestly, I love the sculpt on the figure, but I hate the articulation. Nice cape. Nice cloth cape, by the way. I do like that. But only his head, and it's not even on a swivel. Arms. That's it. Legs. That's it. Vader could move. How are you supposed to get him into a dynamic pose when you do that? Main line. Hey, look, he actually has a swivel on the hip. And slightly, because they went overly soft with the plastic, a slight swivel on the legs. Best figure out of the damn bunch. Okay. Then we're going to go to the next bad guy. Okay. I don't know why they released like 10 of these in every fucking pack. But, God, I hate the cloak. It should be made out of rubber. He should be able to move with him, but it should be made out of rubber and it shouldn't be attached to the legs. Seriously, what the fuck, Hasbro? And why not make one with a removable helmet? No. This one was the better of the one. The frightening one. He has a little cloak that goes over the top of his head. He has a thing, but he still only has a ball joint at the neck. And he's still got that damn rubber thing. I mean, that looks horrible. Yeah, you can hold his lightsaber, he can do his own thing. Doesn't matter. Okay, I gotta admit, they did improve from Force Awakens to The Last Jedi when it came to the total design of the figure. He's still only got this minor movement, but they took away the longer cape. His head moves. I love the fact that they use that. I mean, that head sculpt, it looks like Adam Driver. But altogether, the figure is still garbage. And it's going to happen every single time we look at these. I mean, Poe's a perfect example of this. Poe. Okay. Force Awakens Poe in Pilot. No removable helmet. The hose was a good idea. You're supposed to be putting him in an X-Wing anyways. Force Awakens Poe. Removable helmet. Ball-jointed head. Actual swivel at the wrists. That was weird. Same basic thing. Still, static figure. I don't know why he's got swivels at the wrist when nobody else did. I've got other great Lukes besides this. This is from Force Awakens. I think this one is... I don't remember where this one came from, but he is actually got swivels at the wrists. Everything. He actually is a fine figure. What the hell happened here? It's the same fucking figure. Nothing. Now, like I said, they actually did improve between the movies. I don't have a second one of him to show for that. Well, wait. No. This first movie, he only wore this style for like 5 minutes. He actually looked more like this in Force Awakens than he looked like this in Force Awakens. Now, they thinned out the body a little bit, gave him a little bit more movement on the head, thinned out the head. I mean, those heads are huge, but he's still no posability. Now, I know a whole bunch of people are going to be saying, if you want posability, go get the fucking Black Series. Yeah, it's yet again, who the fuck wants to pay $20 for an action figure that has just a little bit of posability? I mean, seriously, it's not worth it. Now, let's get into... These guys can all go into buckets. Yeah, sure. Hey, wow, that one actually spoke. One of the things that I can actually say that they did improve on, Neil Numb was not one of them. But especially in the last couple of movies, their alien designs have gotten a lot better. I mean, Chewie actually looks like Chewie. I'd love it if either one of these Chewies had a little bit more articulation, but they look like Chewie. This guy, he looks great. He's got a great head. Those tubes are wonderful. Yeah, you had to get a big set to be able to get him, but he looked good. He came with this guy. He looks great too. He doesn't actually look like DeForest Whitaker, but he does look pretty damn good. I didn't even like Rogue One, and I bought almost every single figure in that line. He looks like the guy from the movie, and he moves about as much as that guy did, so I'm not going to complain about his articulation. Same with him. You barely see him in the movie at all. What the hell is he, anyways? He was a character that had no point in the movie. Same with this guy. However, he had actually bent his knees and his elbows in the movie, so why not put the frickin' bends in there? You notice I didn't bring out any of the droids. The reason that I didn't bring out any of the droids is because I just didn't want to deal with that. It'd be too much work to try to show you every single droid. I'll probably do it in a future video. I don't even know why he was in the line at all. That the scene with him was cut from the movie. Maz. I love this Maz. This is my favorite Maz. She's got the backpack and everything. I did like the other one, but I didn't get to keep her because my ex-fiance took off with her. That can go in the trash. But, you know, I love Maz anyways. Maz is like the new Yoda. She's great. But I liked this one. I liked the other one. I do wish that she'd had the bending in these so that you could actually do the scene where she's adjusting the eyepiece and everything. That would have been great. He's a shitty figure, period, because he was a minor character who, luckily, they never showed him getting eaten, so it makes no sense that what he came with can actually eat him. Yes, I have this thing. But I collect Star Wars figures, and I'm going to continue to collect them, even though I'm bitching about them. But why is he eating him? He didn't even eat this guy. He ate the other guys. Yeah, I got the Lukes out of here already, but honestly, I love these Lukes. I just wish that they were a little bit more articulated. It's surprising to me that they actually put articulation of that type on them. The movable wrists would have been great on both figures. They did improve as the line went on. Unfortunately, it was too late to get a decent new Han Solo figure. The old man Han. Ugh. The only Han that I have, actually. I do have figures from Han Solo, but I only have the girl, Chewie, and this guy here for some reason. I thought I had another couple of figures. I have the second thing, but my ex took off with that. That's what I loved. Look at that. Actually take the mask off of this thing so it know what it looks like. The mask pops on securely. That worked great. Wrist swivels, even with the things, this guy barely was in the movie. And the only thing you really see besides, he's got this. I love the overcloak. They should have done that on more figures. The Leias. God, so much potential. Old Lady Leia, original Leia, so much potential. Cannot move. This is the common thing that you're going to hear from me. Rey. I've got Rey in her Black Series form because I had to have her. I wanted Rey to actually look the way she's supposed to because that doesn't look like Daisy Ridley to me. That does. That does. That one does, but not as much as the others. That is a horrible face sculpt. But she's one of the best figures because she actually has wrist swivel and can actually wield a lightsaber. But these girls should have had the bendable wrists. All of them should have, because she's supposed to hold the lightsaber with two hands. This guy, I don't even know why I have him. He should actually be able to move, even if he was stiff in the movie. This entire frickin' toy line of these was disappointing. I mean, seriously, what the fuck, Hasbro? You got to the point where you basically had Star Wars becoming the new G.I. Joe. You didn't need to have a G.I. Joe line because you had Star Wars. They were posable, they were great. And then you fucked it all up. How did you fuck it up? By taking away their articulation. By listening to whiny bitch fans who, oh, there's too much articulation. There's no such thing, okay? Too much articulation is when you have a halfway foot joint, ankle joint, halfway up the shin swivel, a knee joint, a hip joint that is a ball joint, but also for some strange reason has a second swivel on it. I'm sorry, that doesn't make sense. Having an ab crunch, having all of this stuff, this makes the character more posable. I don't know why anybody was bitching about that, except for maybe the guy over at Retro Blasting, who, that guy whines way too much. I swear, he just wants to bitch about stuff. I understand, dude, you give honest reviews if you see this, but the truth about it is you're bitching too much and you're pulling hairs. You should just be happy that the stuff is out there. If you don't like it, don't buy it. That's all there is to it. Hasbro, because they were listening to you guys, to these whiny people who thought that there was too much articulation, which honestly, the only time I've ever seen too much articulation was with Toy Biz and their versions of Marvel Legends. And speaking of which, Hasbro, what the hell is with you guys? The 6-inch figures are wonderful. You proved with the Black Series line of 3 3/4 inch figures that you can make the same thing as the Black Series in a smaller version. Some of us want our 3 3/4. I don't want to go out and spend 25 to 30 bucks to buy a fucking figure that is 6 inches tall that will not work with the rest of my figures. I want a 3 3/4 inch that actually is posable. There is no point in the stuff that I do. Your vehicles are too small for the figures. They should be larger. The whole point of the line being the way it was in the first place, the whole point of the 3 3/4 inch figures was so that you could build vehicles that would work. Yes, they didn't have to be exact size, but at least the original one, you could have at least put Han and Chewie in the fucking cockpit of the Falcon. At least the fighters actually looked good and like they were supposed to. Yeah, you guys have done some great stuff in Black Series. Stop worrying about Black Series and start worrying about your goddamn main line. That's where you make your money. Charging $7 a piece for a fully articulated figure, you did it. You did it for years. And then, oh, it was costing too much money. That's bullshit. Don't tell me that it's because of the price of plastic that you're not doing this. No, it's because of the fact that you don't think it's going to sell. Well, guess what? Look at your actual Transformers Legends line. Takara doesn't hold back. Takara does all the design for that. Nobody from Hasbro is doing any of the designs for that. When Hasbro gets involved with Transformers, you end up with shit lines like Cyberforce. No, it's Takara. You look at what Takara does. Takara sits there, they make everything posable, give it multiple points of articulation, they give this great transformation. Yeah, it costs more. But at the same time, it works, and it's worth more. This isn't worth $7. It's not even worth $5. That's why back when Kenner was doing it, they were $5 a figure at the most. Most of the time, back in the 1980s, they were $3 a figure at most. I could get them for $1 a piece back then. This is where the problem is. You guys are too money grubbing to realize you'd make more money by doing the figures we want. Making them posable, making them worth a shit, and charging less for them. Because we buy more. That's the thing. You buy more of the cheaper stuff. You guys really need to get your heads out of your ass and fix this, because you got a problem coming with the Marvel lines. Your G.I. Joe line is dead because you killed it. All you got left is Star Wars. And your specialty stuff that you're geared completely towards collectors. I'm sorry, kids don't want special features. They want characters they can play with. I know, that's exactly what happens every time my nieces play with my stuff. They don't want to play with this new shit. These are good for standing on the shelf and nothing else. They want to play with my older stuff, the stuff with the articulation. They don't care about the stupid grappling hook. They don't care about the neat little weapon things that you can build. They want good stuff. If you're not going to do it, then fuck it. I'm going to continue to collect them because I'm a collector. I love Star Wars. I want the Star Wars stuff. Yeah, I'll continue to buy this stuff. However, if the price goes up to $10 like it did with those tube shit things, I'm not paying for that. I looked at that and I went, oh, fuck you. Jesus. You guys have no respect for for the people who buy your stuff. Stop listening to the board of directors and start listening to the fans. We want articulation. We want playable action figures. I am willing to pay $10 for an articulated action figure. I would prefer to pay 5 to 7. And don't use the excuse of plastic costs so much. If that was the case, you guys would have figured out a way to make cheaper plastic. These figures don't even cost you $1 to make. Why are you charging 7? Don't claim that. And as for Walmart and all of the other retailers, knock off your shit. You make more money by selling shit cheaper. Everybody who has ever worked in retail has told me that the cheaper something is, the more of it they sell. That's why we have so many knockoffs. That's why we have so many fake versions of things. They're similar, but they're not exactly. People will pay for quality. That's not quality. That's garbage. Clean up your act, fix your problems, and we're good. Thank you. Enjoy. Oh, and I didn't show any of the weapons. I do have them all, so don't worry about that. It's just that they're in M&M tubes, so good way to store your weapons, by the way. And like I said, enjoy.